Thank you very much. That is the first excerpt that we've shown in the United States of the film Inside the Revolution that we will be releasing on September 11th, 2009, to try to take people inside the Muslim world, try to understand the dynamic that is going on, because we are at the most dangerous moment in the history of the Islamic Revolution. And it's been an extraordinary week as well. I mean, we're in the big grand scheme of 2009, we are at the 30-year anniversary of the Islamic Revolution. It was actually on Wednesday, April 1st, that we celebrated, if that's the right term, let's say marked, the Islamic Revolution in Iran. It was 30 years ago on Wednesday that the Ayatollah Khomeini, who had toppled the Shah, who was pro-American, pro-Israel, he had toppled the Shah, he had returned from exile into Iran. There were 9 million Iranians in the streets. The streets of Iran were on fire. Khomeini took power, and then on April 1st, 1979, he declared that Iran was going to be the world's first Islamic republic, the first country in human history to be governed by Sharia law, by the laws of the Quran. Now, on that 30th anniversary, as Iran marked that time, Israel had a change of government. It actually happened the day before. Benjamin Netanyahu was sworn in as the next prime minister of Israel. Now, we need to pray for that prime minister. I had the privilege of working with him, for him, back in the year 2000. I had mentioned earlier in this conference, as you know, that I am a failed political consultant. I was on his comeback campaign team in the year 2000. Now do the math. It took 9 years for him to come back. And when I was with him last year, I noticed that he didn't ask me to come back and help him. So that's why he won. But he faces an extraordinary challenge. And I don't envy the role that he has now. His first interview that Mr. Netanyahu gave as prime minister was to the Atlantic magazine, an American magazine. They put up on their website right away. The headline was this: Netanyahu to Obama, stop Iran or I will. He warned of the dangers of nuclear weapons falling in the hands of apocalyptic, messianic cult leaders, the leaders of Iran. What did he mean? Why did he say this? He said it because the current leaders of Iran believe that the end of the world is near. This is what they're saying publicly. In the book, Inside the Revolution, I walk through these quotes from their books, from their speeches, from their websites, from their videos, so you hear in their own words. And of course, when the film comes out, we'll be doing the same thing. So you hear what they're saying. They are saying that the end of the world is at hand. These leaders of Iran, not the Iranian people, you have to make that distinction, but the leaders of Iran, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the president, I want you to say that 5 times quickly with me. No, I'm just kidding. You can just call him Ahmed Genocide. President Ahmadinejad and the supreme leader of Iran, the Ayatollah Khamenei, who is a disciple of Khomeini, there will be no spelling tests. These men and the people they have surrounded themselves with believe the end of the world is near. They believe that the arrival or the appearance of the Islamic Messiah, known as the Mahdi, or the 12th Imam, or the hidden Imam, they believe that his appearance on earth is imminent. That's the language they're using, the actual word, imminent. Furthermore, they believe that the way to hasten or speed up the coming of the Mahdi, the Islamic Messiah, is to annihilate 2 countries. Israel, which they describe as the little Satan, and the United States, which they describe as the great Satan. A few quotes that we've drawn together and put in the book. I want to share them with you so you understand a little bit of what they're saying in their own words. Now, this is from January 2001, 9 months before 9/11. Happened to be the same month I began writing The Last Jihad, but I didn't know this quote was out there at that time. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khomeini said, "It is the mission of the Islamic Republic of Iran to erase Israel from the map of the region." Iranian President Akbar Hashemi Rafsanjani, in December 2001, quote, "One bomb is enough to destroy Israel. In due time, the Islamic world will have a military nuclear device." Headline from the Iran Press Service, December 14th, 2001. Rafsanjani says Muslims should use nuclear weapon against Israel. Iranian President Ahmadinejad, October 26, 2005. Israel, he said, must be wiped off the map. Ahmadinejad on April 14th, 2006. Quote, "Like it or not, the Zionist regime is headed toward annihilation. The Zionist regime is a rotten, dried tree that will be eliminated by one storm." Ahmadinejad on June 2nd, 2008, not only speaking about the annihilation of Israel, now he became bolder in talking about the United States. This is just last year, June 2nd, 2008, Ahmadinejad said, quote, "Today the time for the fall of the satanic power of the United States has come, and the countdown to the annihilation of the emperor of power and wealth has started," unquote. 2 days later, June 4th, 2008, Ahmadinejad said to the Muslim world, quote, "Get ready for a world minus the U.S., unquote. It is this eschatology, this end times theology, that makes Iran so dangerous, because it's what's driving Iranian foreign policy right now. It's what's driving Iranian leaders to feverishly try to build, buy, or steal nuclear weapons and the missiles to deliver them. North Korea has this missile on the launch pad right now, expected to launch imminently. At least 15 Iranian military advisors are on hand right now, according to the open press services. You have to understand, in my view, North Korea is a test lab for what Iran is trying to do. North Korea is desperately in need of cash. Iran is desperately in need of data. Will their nuclear weapons work? Will their ballistic missiles work? They're working hand in glove with the North Koreans. And so if this missile launch goes off, it's not just a threat because of North Korea's potential capacity to reach the western coast shores of the United States, but because this data is likely to get transferred to a regime that's talking in this manner about the end of the world and bringing it about. You have to understand, if Iran gets nuclear weapons and the ballistic missiles to deliver them, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad could do in about 6 minutes what it took Adolf Hitler 6 years to do, and that is to kill 6 million Jews. And that is not his major objective. It's one of his objectives, but Israel, as I mentioned, is only the little Satan in Shia Muslim eschatology, end times theology. The United States is the great Satan. So Israel is an objective, but we are the ultimate objective, because Iran's leaders perceive us as the epicenter of Christendom. We know that that's not exactly true. We need a revival in this country. We need a return to Jesus Christ in this country. But for their purposes, they're coming after us. Now, our theme at this Epicenter Conference this year is understanding today's global crises in the light of Bible prophecy. What most people don't realize is that the Islamic Revolution that was set into motion 30 years ago this year, 30 years ago this week, is actually the fulfillment of Bible prophecy. For the past 30 years, what have we seen in Iran and throughout the Muslim world? We've seen wars. We've seen revolution. We've seen rumors of more wars. We've seen terrible lawlessness, the exporting of terrorism all over the Middle East, all over the world, Asia, Africa, Latin America, the United States. We have seen terrible persecution of followers of Jesus Christ, and now the constant talk of the coming of the Islamic Messiah. This is exactly what the Bible foretold 2,000 years ago.